right after the Red Sea closed, drowning the Hebrews' foes. They all praised God and said, they won't bother us, no. Well, now Moses is feeling pressure. A couple 100,000 people in the desert. It was hot and it only got hotter. 3 days and they hadn't had water. Well, pretty soon they made it to Mara. Felt great cause the place had water. But pretty soon that turned to sorrow when the people couldn't swallow. The water is sour! And Moses didn't know what to think, cause the people looked at him and said, now what we gonna drink? So he cried out to the Father and he showed him a bread and said, throw it in the water. He threw it and the water was blessed. Somebody gave a test and said, the water is fresh! Yeah! And God said, here's a test. I want to see the level of your faithfulness. If you will listen to the laws that I am giving, then nobody will get sick and die, cause I heal them. The people said, we agree. And Moses lay back in the cut like, we'll see. As they was going through the desert of sin, right between Mount Sinai and Elim, the whole community showed a lot of unity. They started getting mad and Moses had a mutiny. They said, we should have stayed back in Egypt. We was getting beaten, but at least we was eating. Now we get nothing. It's really not fair. It would have been better had the Lord killed us there. And the Lord said, dude, don't sweat them. I'ma make food come down from the heavens. Tell them to only get enough for the day. And I'm gonna sit back and see if they obey. That day Moses had a meeting to tell the people about this new food they be eating. He said, the Lord has heard your beef and there'll be bread in the morning and meat in the evening. Later on that night at the campsite they were overwhelmed. They came out of their tents, looked down on the ground, and they found it was nothing but quail. But next morning from inside the camp, just like every day, it was damp with dew. And then right out the blue, the water dried up and they saw something new. Ooh. Thin white flakes on the floor. They said, what's this? He said, food from the Lord. You sure? He said, go ahead and eat it, and told them to only gather just what they needed. Every man should get about 2 quarts, and don't try to keep it overnight. But of course, they wouldn't listen, and what they had left had turned into maggots and it smelled like death. And Moses got highly upset. He said, how long will y'all be so hard-headed? Just listen to the Lord's command so we can get our land and get out of this sand. Understand? Yeah. You sure? Agree. And Moses laid back in the cut like, we'll see. Later on they left the desert of sin and came to a place with no water again. And then it started getting hotter. Somebody shouted, yo, Mo, what's up with the water? And Moses said, be quiet. You be quiet. We thirsty, we dying. We left Egypt, what was we thinking? We was getting beaten, but at least we was drinking. Now we get nothing, yeah, thanks a lot. Our kids gonna die right along with our livestock. And Moses said, why, God? They gon' stone me. Look, they trying to find rocks. And God said, don't sweat them. The people want water, I'ma teach you how to wet them. You know that staff that you had back in Egypt, bring it to the rock on Sinai, you gon' need it. Take the leaders and tell them to watch. And when I say go, Mo, strike it on the rock. God said go, Mo went and struck it. Water started gushing out the rock by the bucket. Everybody drank to their heart's content. So Moses named it Meribah, the place of argument. And God called Moses up high to meet him at the very top of Mount Sinai, so they could talk and give him the laws. For while he was gone, everybody said, man, he got us way out here. Heard it like steer and he just disappeared. It's clear, he ain't coming back, he don't need us. Aaron, make us a God who can lead us. Aaron wasn't Moses' equal. Not that he was weak, but he was scared of the people. So he goes and tells them, your cries I am hearing. Every man, woman, and child, bring me your earrings. So Aaron took the gold, melted it down and shaped it in the mold of a calf. And that's when he tripped. He said, yo, this is who led us out of Egypt. Yeah. Aaron had the people on board. He said, tomorrow we gonna throw a party for the Lord. But what was he thinking? All of God's people was feasting and drinking. Just like the pagans, God said, I can hear them fools from here. They all saying that a calf that they made with their own hands saved them and is gonna take them to the promised land. God told Moses to beat it. I'm about to kill him, I don't think you wanna see it. And Moses said, wait, if the people get deleted, the heathens in Egypt will say you couldn't lead them. Plus you promised Abraham, Jacob, and Isaac that they would have descendants like stars where the sky's at. So please don't waste them, please have mercy, please be patient. God was like, Mo, you better talk to him, for lightning put a spark through him. I block the sun and it get dark to him. I make sharks chew him, lose major parts to him, arms, legs. So Moses went down the mountain with the 10 commandments in both of his hands. And soon as his feet hit the sand, he couldn't understand what he saw when he scanned. Man, God's people with their hands up, worshiping the calf as they danced. What? Moses was heated. He threw the tablets, they smashed into pieces. He went over to the calf that they worshiped, put it in a big bonfire and he burnt it. Ground it up and turned it to powder, put it in the water, gave it to the people and said, everybody swallow. He asked Aaron why he did it. He said, come on, Mo, you know these people was wicked. They told me that you wasn't coming back, so I melted up the gold and then out popped this calf. Moses saw the people out of control. He went to the gates of the camp and said, yo, everybody that's rolling with God, come on down here and stand right by my side. It was a real sad sight. Nobody joined them except for the Levites. Alright, Moses said, cool, this is what the Lord wants all of you to do. Get your swords, go back and forth, killing everybody from your friends to your neighbors. And they said, we obey. 3,000 people got slayed that day. God said, for your faithfulness and your obedience, you will all be blessed. The rest got cursed with a plague because they worshiped the calf that Aaron had made. They all learned something that day. Never put nothing but God in first place. And that goes for anything that you have, from a crib to a car to a calf. Don't do it.